better boss up, nigga.
We back. All right, let's get back to the show. Welcome back, man. We'll get back to it. I was giving my diatribe about the hood nigga dying, the reputation of the hood nigga. Well, we went through the whole thing about the soldier. All right, I need a roughneck, and the prevailing thought that the hood nigga was the definition of what it means to be a black guy. But why is the hood nigga dying, right? The YNs have a bad reputation, and also, you have older hood niggas still being hood niggas, right? You have Steven Jackson running around saying, I gotta check in when I go to Cabrini Green projects. When I go to Southside Chicago, I check in. You have Takeoff getting shot when he went to Houston, Texas, right? And old niggas was allegedly responsible for that, right? You have DMX, all of these men dying, right? They're dead, all right? They didn't make it to 50. Okay, so all that hood stuff and all the drugs and the alcohol and the cocaine and the partying caught up. You got Benzino rocking around, all right, on steroids, all right, looking crazy. And women are going, I don't know about that Benzino. So you have the old guy, the young guys that were hood niggas in the 90s running around here with wearing chain link chains, you know what I mean? Like dog collar chains and shit like this, running around here with their old pit bulls looking like old crazy men. Right, and all of the Arrested Development going crazy. You have what? 90s niggas still giving you 90s war stories about what they used to do and run pickup game in the 90s. And they running around here looking crazy. Ain't touched a woman yet. And not only that, a lot of these old niggas with these old stories married either single moms or they married old fat women. Right? Even the pimps that were the biggest pimps in the 90s and the 2000s married to they bottom bitch, and the bottom bitch looked crazy as hell. Right? So you're looking at the death of the hood nigga. Now, that doesn't mean Pookie and Ray Ray won't win out here, but you're looking at the death of the hood nigga, and there's black fatigue. So when niggas used to crash out, oh, he good. But now when niggas crash out, you're like, oh, man, this is crazy. All right? And when hood niggas get whooped on TikTok and Twitter, not just white folks celebrate, but black people celebrate. Yeah, whoop these bullies. All right, so all the dudes that run around here and say, I was the man in the 90s. Nobody gives a fuck about you now. All right, nobody cares, bro. All right, nobody giving you credit, street cred. Nobody cares that you used to put in work and you served 20 years and now you still a hood nigga. Like, nobody cares. Right, now you just a dude addicted to scissor. Now you just a dude addicted to scissor. So the hood nigga is dying, all right? And it's a great death, all right? I love to see the death of the hood nigga, meaning the reputation of them being the prevailing ideology of black people is dying, all right? And we love it. I love to see it, all right? And so we do have a woman here that's going to share the fact that hood niggas is just a fetishization of men, all right? And so men do recognize that women do wake up later and they go, well, all this time I spent chasing hood niggas was actually counterproductive. So even the women are looking at it as these hood niggas ain't shit. But it says right here, hood men being fetishized. Let's head on play it right here.
There's some kind of fetish with street dudes because we mistake them as being more masculine. I really wish that women would stop putting street dudes on a pedestal. And I mean, you see how Glorilla's song, she was talking about the type of dude that she wanted, and that's cool because she's selling you an illusion. And don't get me wrong, I love that song. I like Glorilla. But she's romanticizing and sexualizing the type of guy that you keep saying that you don't want. If we actually held ourselves accountable for the type of men that we chose, I don't think we would keep romanticizing men that are in survival mode.
Men are in survival mode. So we talked about survival mode. Don't mess with people who are in survival mode. They're parasites. And so men are in survival mode. What tends to happen? They crash out harder and faster. Right? They crash out and they kill somebody. They crash out and they mow somebody over with their car. Right? A lapse in judgment. But these are the women that then they get when they're 13 to 25, and then they have babies by them, and then later on they say, you know, all these men ain't shit. But it was a small percentage of these hood niggas that was in survival mode. All right, let's continue.
I've actually never dated a street guy that was very protective. It's a complete myth that they're more masculine and more protective, and they're actually more combative.
Yes.
And they lack a lot of emotional maturity because they're in survival mode.
Let me stop her right here, because a lot of women, they'll think a guy is a real man if that guy puts her in her place. But I've been showing and demonstrating that guy's emotional. He's in his feminine, right? He argues with women. He snaps at them. He crashes out. He cusses them out. That man is not masculine. He's in his feminine. He's acting like a bitch. But some bitches that like niggas like this don't think so. They think, oh, he argues and he'll put you in their place and cuss her out. So what'll happen is when you don't cuss them out and put them in their place, they think you're feminine. They're like, you don't communicate and you don't discuss and you don't tell me. And so they'll challenge and shit testing you, hoping that you cuss them out and argue with them. And then that's the way they think that you're protective and masculine, but you're actually in your feminine. Okay, you're in your feminine, arguing with a bitch. Anytime you're arguing with a woman, you're in your feminine. All right, there's no way you're in your masculine arguing. Because a woman that, when you're in your masculine, when you say something, she does it. That's masculine. All right, where she recognizes, all right, there's real consequences. All right, maybe she had to learn the hard way and you had to go upside her head one time. But if you're arguing and cussing them out, you're in your feminine. You are in your feminine. If you got to raise your voice and cuss a bitch out and argue with her, you are being feminine like a motherfucker. All right, there's no way that's masculine. So eventually what's next is threatening and punching and, dragging her and cussing her out and, push her in the car and she fighting you. Once you're fighting with a woman physically, you're in your feminine. All right, big time. And they're even mentioned it, Rupneck and Soldier in the comment section here. And I did a stream on that. And that was based on something that I heard another content creator talking about. I believe it was, I want to give credit. But yeah, here we go.
They're not trying to love you. I don't care how many black movies that they create where the love is so toxic, and then for some reason, especially in the black community, we romanticize these toxic relationships. And then we romanticize these guys and say that we want this Russell Wilson, Sierra type of love, but we're never going to get there. If we keep talking about we want a hood dude.
Facts. And this is what we seen Sierra even do. This is why we criticize Russell Wilson so much, because Sierra chased toxic love for so long and then eventually settled for Russell, a guy she doesn't like. All right. And he's saving her day. So that's why we're calling Russell a simp, all right, incestual, because this woman did the baby boy syndrome, chased around guys that didn't like her, that was using her, and then Russell came and saved the day. Now you have baby boy, you have music artists like K. Michelle, Mary J. Blige. There's another music artist, a black woman, she's Keisha Cole. All right, they promote this type of love. Now you have the hood rappers, Glorilla, Cardi B. All right, continuing, now she's with a Pookie. All right, Stephon Diggs. Okay, if you missed that part of the show earlier, we broke that down. So these cultures this has been the definition of what a black man's supposed to be, right? Especially when you're in your club era and you're in your young girl era and you're in college. These women have been indoctrinated that the hood guy is the fetish that they need to go after until they're blown out, and then all of a sudden they're turning over to you, right? You're stable, you're a good guy, and then they charge you a price. Fantasia. Okay, so these are all the ideas what happens, and then when the guy comes and helps her out, he's a simp, right? Then we criticize him, like, how did you fall for that? So these women have been propagandized by saying that these men are the type of man that they want, and this is fairly new, although women always have chased bad guys, but not at this rate. Okay, and I can live to say, I've been here long enough to say, women have always liked bad guys. But because they had a father, they had shame, right? They had church. People were more likely to go to church. People shooed the girls away. All right. They was like, don't do it. All right. They had the one auntie that did it, and she had enough war stories to say, don't go for these bad guys. Now the bad guy, the hood nigga, is the prevailing thought. She's the high, just like the skeezer is for men. It is the prevailing thought of what black men should be. And if you don't fall into that characteristic, then you a lame, a square, right? All of these things that we come up with. So she's cooking with hot fish grease. But unfortunately, I have to tell her it's too late. Unfortunately, I have to tell the women, by the time you try to grow out of this and get you a mature man and a man, like a mature gray beard man, a silverback, right? A mature guy, it's too late. You've been whored out. You can't fix him. This is my opinion on this. You cannot fix this woman. Even this woman here, even saying this, she's unfixable. she's going to screw you over. Why? Because she's always going to be hood nigga adjacent, right? Her cousin, her nephew, her family. She's never going to leave that element. You can move her straight to the suburbs. Her ass will run right back to that city. And her family and relatives and all her, her male friends and her homeboys. Oh, my homeboy does this. And my homeboy, it's too late. She's still going to listen to Keisha Cole. She still got ran through at 12 and 13. So I'm glad she's acknowledging this, but, she's preaching to the choir. It's an echo chamber. This is what they need to tell the younger women at age 8. Okay, not at age 13. It's too late. It's too late.
Especially if you're not a hood chick. They see you as naive and gullible.
See, non-hood chicks is what made it bad, because we always had skeezers chasing after bad boys. But when the so-called non-hood chicks, suburban white girls, Latinas that came from good padres, it was when they started chasing hood niggas, that's when the dynamic went crazy, right? Because now they can see hood niggas on TV screens and movies theaters, right? So it is when the non-hood chicks or the non-bad girls went after hood niggas is where everything went left. Okay, that's where it went left. Bad girls, hoes have always chased, and hookers and skeezers have always chased the worst kind of guys. It was when the non-bad girls in mass marched over and said, I want Lil Wayne to have my baby. That's my husband. That's when the shit went left.
Don't let the hype fool you where they're like, oh, you're wifey material because you speak a certain way and dress a certain way. The only difference is that hood chicks know exactly what type of time a street dude is on. There is nothing that you'll understand about a person that can analyze, observe you, and know how to get what they want from you, because where they're from, there's less resources. Their survival mode makes you navigate differently through life. And I know this because I've experienced this.
There you go, see? All right. So she knows. All right. She's experienced not only survival mode, but fetishizing hood niggas, right? And giving them their guts and then running up the count to 50, right? And coming on and bragging about it, right? And then she cleaned up her act. Shout out to her. She cleaned up her act, and she was not a bad hood girl to begin with, right? She was on the level. She was on the fringe, and now she got suckered into it, and then now, boom, 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 boom.
If you don't come from struggle, the way you view the world in relationships are just different. So if you're from the suburbs and people, and you speak a certain way, you have a certain disposition and demeanor, trust me, you do not align with no street dude, and they see you as silly and naive. And
they also see you as prey. All right, someone that you can manipulate. So then they go about manipulating you in a way that you don't understand, because they see you as a target. This is why when people say that black guy got rich and he moved out of the hood and got a white girl or whatever other girl, is because he can't relate to those straggle bitches. He can't relate. They see him as prey. They're manipulating him, and they don't see that he can see that they're trying to go short game on him. Stephon Diggs should pay attention.
There's some kind of fetish with street dudes because we mistake them as being more masculine.
And I'm gonna go down to my grave and tell you, street dudes are feminine. Now, here's the problem with that. They'll be the first to shoot you in your fucking face, right? They'll be the first to squab over nothing, right? They'll be like, what? Street dudes ain't feminine. Street dudes will whoop your ass. Okay, for what reason though? Give me a reason why my ass is getting whooped. Because I called you feminine? What are you going to get from whooping my ass? Are you going to get a cookie, a trophy, or are you going to get an assault and battery? Because I'm calling the white fucking police. I love that meme. I'm calling the white police on you. I'm calling the police on you, the white ones. The ones that fucking kneel on your neck. That's what I'm doing. So I'm not going to squat. You better attack me. All right, but a person that is willing to crash out and lose their freedom over very little is a feminine man. Okay, that's not a masculine guy. They fake masculinity, and most of these guys don't fight unless they know that they can jump you, right? So they're not gonna fight and talk shit unless they know 5 of their homeboys are around, right? So that's feminine, right? That's not masculine. That's not machismo. So they know that if it goes left, they're gonna have 5 of their niggas jump in. or they're going to shoot you if you beat them in the fight. They're just going to run to their trunk. This is not masculine behavior, but this is how they grow up. The essays do this. By the way, the essays do this. If you ever been around Mexican gang members, what do? All right, what do? They're very passive aggressive and they attack like cockroaches. All right, so what they're going to do is they're going to surround you. All right, that is the first thing they're going to do. Okay, so they'll act like they're cool and shit, and you'll walk up to them and you'll be like, hey, man, I like your fucking Cadillac on Dayton's. And you'll be generally trying to ask them a question. Then what are they going to do? They're going to start surrounding you. They'll start stepping back and acting like they doing something else. And then one person will be behind you over here. The other person will be behind you over here. The other person behind you over there. Now, the other person trying to keep your attention right here, having a conversation. Meanwhile, they loading up pipes, chains, and baseball bats. And they ready to put guns, or that somebody's ready to sneak punch you. And then they'll start kicking and stumping you. All right? That's what Mexican gangs do. That is very feminine. Yep, they be in your blind spot. They'll line up right behind your ear, all right, where you can't see this nigga about to sneak punch you and hit you with a pipe. Okay, and that'll be the first punch thrown. Now, the next nigga that you were squared up on will throw the punch second. Or he'll throw it first, and then knowing that the other dudes are coming in with the pipes behind them. This is feminine behavior. This is not masculine. This is desperate survival mode behavior. It's cowardice. It's not masculine, but they think this is masculine behavior, and they grow up not knowing that this is feminine. They think this is what young men do. Yep, now you're getting stumped out. All right, it's not a fair fight. You didn't even know you were fighting. So how was it a fair fight if you didn't even know it was a fight? All right, so that is feminine behavior. Now I'm calling the white police, the ones that kill you when they show up. So this is what men haven't been told. So when you say our counter against it, they're mad on me on the other side. There's a nigga right now that's going crazy. There's an essay now going crazy, calling me all kind of names because I called him feminine. Now he's ready to stab me when he sees me. This is why these men are feminine. They're emotional. They don't know how to deal with issues. They're in survival mode, and then they act feminine. All right, I'm calling the white police on you. You got to understand that this is it. But, of course, we've celebrated this behavior for so long that we think this is masculine behavior. The women think it's masculine behavior. All right, and what do the women do when this happens? All they do is scream, "No, Hector! Hector, no!" They just screaming on the other side. You know, you got cockroach bitches just screaming on the other side. No, and oh, no, stop. They see this shit every weekend. Every weekend, same shit. Right around 10:30, right around when everybody's smoking chronic. They know the crash out is coming. And they scream like they don't know it's coming. Okay? Can't help hood motherfuckers, all right? So this is why we tell you guys, you got to get away from these people because they're not going to help you grow. All right, speaking of getting away from these people, all right, this man says he's getting away from these people. All right, here we go right here. All right. This guy says all the nicest areas have no black people. Oh my goodness. All right. All the nice areas have no black people.
All right, so every time I come to an area that's nice, the thing that they have in common is that there are like no black people around, and I am dead serious about that. And I know that people are not going to like me. You're going to be talking crap about it, whatever. This is the reality of the situation. I'm in Boston for work right now. I'm at the waterfront or seaport or whatever it is. And I was just walking around. It's nice. It obviously looks expensive. There's nice restaurants. Everybody's just chilling, like families. Just everybody is acting normal. And I'm just like, oh my God, there are like no black people here. And when I mean no black people, I mean none. All right. Like I'm the only one that I've seen that's not like some kind of employee. Right. And then there are the people that are here from out of town for the conference that I'm here for. And it really does remind me, like, it makes me think of, well, why is Miami Beach so chill? Why is Miami Beach so quiet? Again, there are no black people. And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying this is something that I have observed in the places where people are calm, people are chill. There's just a sense of community. Everybody's just vibing. It's really, really cool. Every time I have that experience, there are either zero black people or a bare minimum of black people.
Niggy. All right, dude, everybody knows he's telling the truth. And that's because survival mode, right? People are not in survival mode. People are comfortable. People are not content. They're comfortable, right? So you're looking at people that have boats and yachts and access to boats and yachts. You have good weather, you know what I mean? People have, you're seeing water. By the way, water is going to be one of the reasons why people feel they're in good spirits. Water is a very, very healing resource. All right. And so when you're around water, you tend to become motivated and you become inspired. If you notice that the people that are in the worst areas, there's no water. All right. All right. There's no water. All right. Typically, the people who have high achievers tend to surround themselves, be around water or access to water, right? Coastlines and, you know, this type of thing and rivers and this type of thing. Not you motherfucking people with, you know, a mosquito laden water, still water. So, this is what happens. And then as a result, this is how people keep certain people away from it. And they use real estate prices to do so. So it's more expensive to be near the water, right? These location. So it's more expensive to be near the water. Therefore, people are either not comfortable being around the water or they don't have access being around these communities. Therefore, it's hard for them to get reach there, right? It's hard. It's more expensive. They complaining about expenses. Oh, it's expensive to live there. Good. We're going to keep you people out of here. Now, he's then relating, saying there's less blacks or no blacks when you go there, and this is true. All right, black people tend to be uncomfortable being around these scenarios. Oh, these white people hate us, and they don't want us around, and they racist. So they tend to not go to these areas. And then you will have people that are not hood people want to aspire to live there. It's motivational. All right, I want to live here, not because the people are good, is because most people aren't bad. They're not going to bother you. So you feel safe. You feel safe. So now he done put on his polo shirt and now he feels safe. He feels motivated. There's not a lot of noise. All right. There's not a lot of noise. When people are in survival mode where they live, it's noisy. Right. When you're in not survival mode, it's not noisy. All right. You don't hear subwoofers and rattling trunks, and you don't hear gunshots and ambulances and traffic. And you don't hear car horns blowing. You don't hear gate doors slamming. Okay, you don't hear a lot of this type of thing. Everybody tends to be quiet. Even their conversation tends to be quiet. It's a mutter as opposed to people yelling down the street and whistling and saying hootie hoo and this type of shit, right? And a person crashing out and having a mental illness. Ghetto bird helicopters. You don't hear this shit in gunfire and Hellcats and loud cars that are driving slow but making a lot of noise. All right. So this tends to be what happens. And then when people get around, they're like, wow, you can live like this. You can live without there just being all of this stuff. In these areas, yep, fire alarms, chirping, just chirp. Beep, beep. All right, you don't have that constantly going on every 34 seconds. Beep. So this is what happens. And then some people are not even, they're immune to these quiet areas. You know, they can't even coexist in these quiet areas. It's kind of like, this is too quiet. Something's wrong. All right. So this is what happens there. You know, you just have all the nicest areas. They just have a lack of these type of people here. All right, shout out to you, man. And if you live in these areas, I would just suggest that you guys take a vacation. All right, take a vacation and go down and go to somewhere where you feel safe and it's quiet. And people pay for quiet. People can pay for quiet. Like if you go to an area where it's quiet, they'll tell you at 9:30, 10 o'clock, if it's still loud, they call them the police, the white ones. All right, and they're going to knock on your door. And you're like, we're just paying spades. You ever go to a poor neighborhood and it's always lit at 12 o'clock, even if they're not at the nightclub? 12:30, they be up barbecuing, playing dominoes, watching replays of sports, having debates, shooting dice. And that's the family people. Lights all on, music blasting, and it's 12:30 a.m. and they're grilling outside. You're like, damn. They running errands. They going to the store. Like, what? Smoking weed. Like, shit. Like, it's 12:30 a.m. Don't you realize I got to go to work in the morning? They don't give a fuck. Fuck you. That sucks to be you. Oh, man. Shit, this is Wednesday. All right, this is Wednesday. It's not even Saturday. It's Wednesday. All right, anyway. Shout out to you guys, man. Jesus. All right, we also have, unless the evil world we live in, we're getting to the main event. What is this main event coming up? Yeah, the main event's coming up already. Having a party. This woman again. All right, I'm going to have to find out her name. She's back again. All right, this woman is either a pick-me or pick-Misha, or I don't know what she is, but I need to see what her wig looks like. I want to see what she looks like under that wig. I want to see what she looks like under this wig, because I know she got a cornrow that Allen Iverson would be jealous of. I know there's a cornrow under this wig. All right, this woman has this to say about body count. Right, the body count conversation here.
We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men, though.
No, men can wash us off.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying because we are incubators and they are the whatever.
Penetrators. That's what they are. Yeah. It's a sport, especially for certain types of men. And for us to sit here and act like we could be just like men, that's wild. Not. We can't wash men off.
All right, so yeah, this is she's in the mind spirit of Melanie Monaco, Sadia Khan, you know, that white girl that slides across the screen and then she shows you a replay of a feminist, whoever that white girl is. Y'all be sharing videos. I see this woman quite a bit. All right. And so to me, she's pretty much disingenuous. She might believe what she believes. All right. But I see her quite a bit. People share videos. And for me, she's saying shit that the black manosphere has said for years. The manosphere in general has said for years. She's saying what men have said for centuries. And of course, now because she's a woman and she's attractive, people listen to her, right? And they hold her more in more esteem than me, right? They'll play her over and over again, saying some shit that we've been saying over and over again. So basically what she's saying is men have the ability to be with multiple women and it not be as damaging as when women are with multiple men. Okay. So women have been for the last 30 years trying to pay equalization in the body count. If men could do it, why can't women? Now, this is obvious because you have microchimerism, microchimerism. We have enough data to show that women with high body counts cannot pair bond, right? This used to be revolutionary stuff. This is why I'm making a shift in season 8. All right, this used to be revolutionary shit, and it's no longer revolutionary. I got shadow banned. I got a video taken down off of YouTube for saying that. Like, I literally have the proof. YouTube took the video off, and my video from like 2019 said women can't pair bond if they have a high body count. They took it off YouTube. Right? Okay, they took it off YouTube. Like, wow, that's how revolutionary it was of an idea on YouTube platform to say that. It was not the go. But today you have this and it's normal speak now. That's why I say, dude, I was censored for saying shit like this. Melanie King, similar. Okay, these people, women have it. Look, if a woman doesn't have a dick, she doesn't have an experience to tell anybody what a grown man is going through. Maybe a teenage boy, but not a grown man. So I don't hold what women say very, very, very high when it comes to the male-female conversation. They ain't got no dick. They ain't got no time. You can't say nothing to me about a grown-ass man, right? Because you're not going to ever live a grown man's life. You'll live a teenage boy's life, right? They'll live equivalent to a teenage boy, but they ain't never going to be what a grown man is. So for them to say they understand, she could say, I accept the fact. But for her to go teach it is no. I don't think they should be teaching this and getting recognition for it. But that could be me just hating too, right? And going, damn, why is she able to say it and I'm not? All right, but it is a fact that what she's saying is, unfortunately, you know, a lot of men are going to disagree. Men can have multiple sex partners and it not be as damaging. It does create damage, but not be as damaging as when women do it. And we can look at relationships now and agree that this has been damaging across the board. All right. It's been a damaging thing for women to have is more sexual experience than men. That way, then when they're looking for more men, there's less men for them to pick from. Why? Because they got incels and virgins and lames and squares and ducks, right? And then they're going, okay, they end up saying, okay, I want a man that can please me like the previous man. If the man can't please me like the previous man, there's no connection. Then their standards start going up. You got to have this and that, and then they'll make concessions about it. And then they still will cheat. Now, for men, there could be some damage related to it, but it typically is going to be expressed in how he has relationships moving forward. Okay. It can be expressed. And for the most part, the man's going to see the woman for as she is. Okay, this woman ain't shit. She's just like the regular one. Like, he has more exposure to women. He sees them not as special. You have less exposure to women. You see them as special, and then you can get played like a fool. So his ability to love is going to go a little bit differently. He's going to have to say, this woman really doesn't love me. She just opens her legs easily. There could be some other damaging effects to this as well, but it's not as damaging as when the women do it. They possess the DNA of the men that they procreate with and or have sex with forever. This is just anatomically. Anatomically. The Lilith called it the den of demons. Okay. I call it the Pookie spawns. It's even some science that could suggest that even when they have children with one man, DNA from other men could be in that child. Okay. So there are very big social repercussions to this type of behavior. All right. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. But she's basically saying stuff that we said for a long time. And her thing is the woman is even arguing her with no facts. Right? The woman's arguing back. No, we don't want it to be that way. But today they actually have it where women have more sexual experience than most men. And that's been a disaster in dating and marriage. All right. Disastrous for the women to have more sexual experience than the average guy. Okay.
Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our body.
Man, that's called microchimerism, microchimerism. Dude, I got censored for that type of video on YouTube. They literally took it down. But this is obvious. Yes, because they have insides, right? You know, just anatomically, they keep the remains of men that they've been with. Doesn't just get washed away. Like, they can't piss the semen out. They can't piss it all out. Sperm are very small. You're not getting rid of it. All right. But men, on the other hand, yeah, we got a little penile hole, but a lot of our shit is being pissed out. Y'all piss the AIDS out in the toilet after you fuck raw. We don't typically have much of their insides in us. We just wash off all of our pussy juice right off our dick. I mean, but they can't really wash us off. So they're carrying that to the next guy. And not only the last sexual performance to the next guy.
For life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
Yep, that's a big one here. They were just talking about it with the hood niggy. The soul ties, the sexual demons, the pookies, the low lives. That does last. All right, why am I skipping? That lasts. Somebody said, don't tell a nurse this. And look, what these nurses, they ain't going to tell you the truth. These nurses are been indoctrinated by propaganda. Nurses don't even think for themselves. But they'll also tell you if they mess with multiple men, their pH balance will be off. Okay. Now, how's that true, nurse? So they'll say if you mess with multiple men, their pH balance will be off. But they don't keep multiple men, all right, in soul ties and spirituals in their system. All right, come on, man. They can't have it both ways.
So do men, though?
No, men can wash us off.
No.
What do you?
No. We can't wash us off. Yes, I can. Dick washing off in the sink. I can wash you off, ma'am. Dick in the sink, just like that. Jump in the shower. I guarantee you can't get all of me off of you.
You mean no?
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. Again, the other woman don't want to listen. You see they're fighting it. Okay, why are you fighting it? I get what you're saying, but
I understand what you're saying because we are incubators and they are the whatever
penetrators. That's what they are. Yeah. It's a sport.
It's a sport. And really for men, sex has always been a sport, right? right? We typically don't carry feelings into sex unless we lack experience, right? When we lack experience, we carry our feelings into sex. When we have more experience, there's less feelings involved, and we can just do it like a handshake, right? We tend to have the ability to do this, not always. There's some feminine men that will kill you over a woman, but it's more over control. He's the only one that wants to have access. But typically men can go and come and go with a woman, all right, here, and not even like the woman. I don't think men should engage in this for far too long, because then that's where the damaging effects go, because now you're never satisfied with a woman. You could be with a woman that you don't like at all. And we call that hate fucking. Okay, I don't like her. I don't like what she represents. Typically, a man with little experience will have intimacy with these women, and then they'll crash out on the woman. You're just a dirty whore, a nasty skeezer, and then he'll kick her in the booty hole and expose her and tell her how nasty she was. But he was enjoying the pleasure part of it. Right? While she was doing all those nasty things, he was with it. But then once she finished and he nutted and he had post-nut clarity, his lack of experience showed up and he became critical of the woman. All right. That was basically because he's disgusted with his behavior, not just hers, but his. And now he needs to call her out for this. All right. You nasty, stupid whore, you ugly, big mouthed, big lipped, right? But you was penetrating her. You was in her guts. Right? You was enjoying it, but now you're telling her how ugly she is without makeup, and she's a 4, right? When she asks you for some tacos, when she wants you to give her a ride back home, now she pale and pasty. Now she got blue veins in her titties and, bruises on her body, and she got cellulite on her booty, okay? This is lack of experience. So when I tell you aftercare, you need to treat a woman decently after she opened her legs to you. Nah, she a dirty whore and skeezer. Well, wait a minute. Wait. She was sucking your dick and you nutted in her mouth. Like, how bad of a woman could she have been if you let her put her filthy mouth on your dick? She couldn't have been that bad, or you was that horny. All right. So when I say treat a woman well, give her a ride home, give her a little goodie bag on the way out, treat her nice, get her some food, make sure she tuck the bitch in bed, tell her good night, and be like, thank you very much. All right. And go home. Y'all niggas be like, why? She shouldn't deserve all that. Are you like, but you let her do those things to you. You let her put her tongue up your bunghole and kiss you on the lips later. But you did that. You did. And you went raw on a woman you barely knew and knew was a nasty skeezer, but you still need to curse her out. Like, come on, guys. Can't have it both ways. I'm here to bring balance to the conversation. All right, get her what she need to do. Tuck her ass in the bed. Tell her to send you a kissy emoji when she's getting tucked in before she goes to sleep, and get that confirmation. Now, if you still think she's a filthy 304, doesn't mean you need to continue with her, but you lustful ass niggas will let her come over there and slob on your knob again. Okay. Yeah, the Red Pill Ranger, she doesn't deserve a damn thing, but you let her lick all up in between your legs and kiss you and tongue kiss you afterwards. You need to look yourself in the mirror, sir. It's an evil world we live in, but men are able to do this more than women, but
it's an evil world we live in.
That's neither here nor there. We got the main event coming up, so I need to acknowledge these super chats and the support. Yes, I know you super chatted, but the stream got cut off, but I'm going to still read your super chat. I'm going to still read your super chat. She don't deserve a ride home. She came here by herself. She need to go home by herself. All these Red Pill Rangers. Bruh, get the girl home. It ain't that hard, bruh. All right? You waited up for her to come to the house. Wait up till she goes to sleep. All right, it's okay, man. A Uber is only $15, all right? $15 Uber back, get her to the crib. She should have her own money. Pick your battles. Okay, that $15 is going to turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't play this right. Ask Mike Tyson. Ask Tiger Woods. Ask Shannon Sharp. Now, these are just examples of men that we know. Ask Kobe Bryant. Ask Kobe Bryant how much it would have cost them to treat the situation right after they nutted. All right, but you like, I'm not Kobe Bryant. You sure the hell ain't. All right, but you can That means you can't bail yourself out of jail when you got a $50K bond. Somebody said ask OJ. But Kobe Bryant and Mike Tyson sure could have cleared that shit up by treating them women differently. Okay? It would have been okay. It would have just been another broad that he fucked and forgot about. But Mike Tyson didn't want to walk her downstairs to get a cab ride. And she was like, okay.
Gotcha, bitch.
Got you. All right. Now you're not the heavyweight champion. Now you're not ask Tupac. Now you're not fighting for the belt. You were fighting for the heavyweight championship, and now you're not. Tupac, now you're in prison. Now you're on death row getting shot 18 months later. Right? You were Kobe Bryant. Now you're missing $5 million due to a wedding ring. Shannon Sharp, it was $25K a cheek. It was free, then $25K a cheek. And you said, fuck that bitch. Now it's $23 million. Aftercare can go a long way. Yeah, you don't want to do shit. No, sure, I don't want to get up. I don't want to walk her to the door. I don't want to wait for the Uber to come. Sure, I can just dismiss this. So just take care of it. And if you have kids and young boys, tell them to take care and clean up their shit. Sex doesn't end after you orgasm. Okay, this is what you should be telling your young boys and young boys. Sex doesn't end after you orgasm. Just because you orgasm doesn't mean it's over. All right? There was a process to get to before you penetrated her. There was a process. You had to call and mac and give her attention and run your game and your crispy mouthpiece. You had to do all that, and you had to get her to the track. You had to get her there. You had to prepare there. You had to have a bag of chips or Cheetos or cheap tacos. You had to have all of that set up. You did all the prep work. And now you pushed and shoved and you nutted. Now, she might not have nutted. She might have nutted. All right, but that doesn't end the contact. That doesn't end your obligation. You then have to finish the obligation. You have to clean your room. When you have a party, you have to wash the dishes. The party ain't over when the last person exits the door. The party's over when everybody cleans up. All right? So it ain't over till the bed is made. It ain't over till everybody's home. It ain't over till everybody's dick is washed in the sink. It ain't over till she's out there done pissed your nut out of her vagina. It ain't over till she's taking a shower. It ain't over until she's tucked in bed. It's not over, right? You gotta finish the job. Job not done. Now, your red pill can't come into the fact now that you got post-nut clarity. Well, women should cover their own bases. They should pay their own money. They make their own money. She should pay for her own cab. That's your red pill coming in. All right, but you was a blue pill simp when you were eating her pussy out. All right, so I don't want to hear shit. You was a whole beta male when you was kissing her on the lips. You was a whole beta male. You wasn't red pill then. Now you want to be red pill because you done orgasm and you done seen how ugly this broad stomach look. It looks like a roadmap to the Sahara Desert. And you want to see how soggy her titties are. Now you want to recognize how ugly the broad is and how she need to cover her own bases and tracks. Nah, go ahead and give her what she need to do. Get her to the crib. But this is just real talk for grown men out here. You wanted to slap her on the ass and have her get on her knees and submit to you. Now you got to play your role out and finish the job. Yeah, now he a tough guy. Now you a tough guy all of a sudden, now that you finish. Shout out to our brother Emmanuel, says, unrelated topic, but the more I live, the more I realize how men are weak when it comes to women. Thank you for your teachings. I'm teaching you guys. Men are weak. We're weaklings, man. This is why we get all in trouble with women, because we don't know how to negotiate with women, right? And then we want to blame the women on the other side. Shout out to Robert Johnson, says, I have a screenshot of your viewer count from the live stream you did the other day, and it shows 10K watchers. Boss up 2025. Hit me with the new world order. Yep. New I don't know if that's a glitch when they start interfering what the real count is, but I don't believe there's only 1,300 people watching me. Not when I go outside and people recognize me. Like, that's impossible. Like, how possible is it that, and I know people watch on the back end of the stream and people watch me and they see clips on Instagram, but everywhere I go, people recognize me. And I'm like, for a person to be only having 2,000 people in the stream, 23,000 people watching on the playback, How is it that everywhere that I go, people recognize me? Like, how is that possible? Now, again, I don't know. The numbers are skewed, but everywhere I go, at least 1 or 2 people recognize me everywhere. Doesn't matter where I'm at. I could be my local grocery store, and somebody's going to be like, hey, CGA, hey, coach. They don't even know my name. Not only people, celebrities, people that are close to celebrities recognize me. But there's only 1,300 people. I don't believe it. All right, I don't believe it at all. I don't never believe YouTube numbers. Like, YouTube numbers be trying to get me to not stream. All right, I was international. I'm international when people recognize me. That's just impossible. It's like impossible. So the numbers never match up. I don't believe the numbers at all. Shout out to our brother. It is our brother here, Rakim Bay. He says, salute, coach. I hope Cardi B's baby doesn't leave the birth canal smelling like Cardi B's BBL. Send it. Oh, terrible. Shout out to you, man. Yeah. It might leave the birth canal smelling like her BBL. Yeah. So, yeah, man. And that's just conspiracy theory by CGA. Shout out to our brother here, Emmanuel. He said, this is an update of the comment I made about weak men after your segment on the NFL players. I'm even disgusted. This guy's losing his wealth over 2 women. 100%. 100%. What did they say in the Bible? Women have brought down kingdoms. I acknowledge this. This is what men don't acknowledge, is that the power women have, and that's Rip Hill Rangers and fake pimps. They'll tell you these bitches ain't shit and they can't do nothing. Guys, if you go about life believing women can't do anything to you, you're going to get humbled. You're going to get humbled. Women can destroy you. One woman, okay? They can destroy you like that. You fuck around with the wrong woman. You marry the wrong woman. They could give you 7 years of bad luck. 20 years of income being garnished. Your tax returns, nigga. They can fuck up your whole savings plan. One woman. One false allegation will have your ass still being reported like that. All right. They'll say you beat the charges and still report that you were arrested for a sexual assault. It'll still be on your jacket. One woman could have a kid, have your kid, and that kid could bring on the most evil things in the world. Okay? They got simp enforcers and toy soldiers to fuck your world up real quick. See, that's what men don't have. We don't have the media. We don't have the court of public opinion. We don't have the courts. We don't have people sympathizing for us. One woman can fuck your whole world up. Your reputation, all of that. Get you fired from jobs, have you explaining shit for 15 years. Well, I was with this woman and she jumped out my car. She said I pushed her out. What? And now you in court. Right? Now you explain that on job interviews. Well, I did get charged with a felony, but it got expunged. What had happened was this bitch jumped out the car, said I pushed her out, and she dragged. Look at DDG. So you better realize they could fuck your world up just like that. Your whole world. They could stab themselves, hit themselves in the head with a hammer and said you did it. And you sitting in the pokey for 38 days. All right. Okay. So you better respect. You better respect what they have in terms of annihilating your ass. And you also better be thankful. The higher your body count is with women, you better be thankful that the percentage of you getting hemmed up is not that great, right? You could be with hundreds of women and only 2 women tried to fuck your world up, right? And that's good percentages, but still. You better watch out, bro. They are not playing, so you better know what you're dealing with. Yep, Emmett Till. Allegedly, he was whistling at a white woman. He was really fucking her, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, somebody caught them fucking, and he's dead. I mean, it ain't that hard to figure out. They can fuck your world up and play the victim and play innocent. All right. Don't think you all machismo because, dude, they got simp enforcers ready to destroy you. Okay. Don't think I could take, you're going to get, if a woman's hell bent on destroying your world, she can wind up every male and come after you with the force, full force of the government. And you'll be sitting in the gulag trying to figure out. It is bad news, man. So you better know you're not scared of the woman. You just know what she has. And all she has to do is simp wolf whistle. And now you're on your heels. And all of that jibber jabber and all of that charisma and all of that crispy mouthpiece ain't going to help you. It ain't going to help you in court. It ain't going to help you. You could go up there and talk to the judge. You can talk to the judge. You can talk to the bailiff. You can talk to the motherfucking CO, the PO. You can talk to the officer arresting your motherfucking ass. You can talk to anybody you want to talk to. They ain't hearing shit. They not going to hear a damn thing, especially if you've been arrested for some sort of sexual assault or grape. Forget it, bro. They ain't nobody hearing that shit. Ain't nobody hearing what your crispy mouthpiece had to say. So you better understand, we're not telling you to be fearful of women. We're telling you to understand what they have at their arsenal. And it ain't her. All right, that's going to fuck you up. It'll be really willingly people to fuck you up. Lawyers, judges, to whip your motherfucking ass. All right, from pillar to post. And make an example out of you. Tar and feather your ass and throw you in the slammer where you only known by a number and your name means nothing. Y'all want to play? Y'all want to play big man on the block, realize they got that at their full arsenal. And nobody, I can't even help you. Fuck around and find out. All right, shout out to William says, I always stated a man is more gangster. He says a man is more gangster than a street guy. He says a man is led on principle and street guy is led on the street. Street manipulators. So they use street tactics and street guilt. All right, don't snitch. They use things to continue to let them be bullies. Street guys are bullies. All right, they're not real men. All right, they're bullies. And I've never really respected them, and I've never been street, nor have I claimed to be street. And anybody claiming to be street and you grown out of that, nigga, come on. Come on, bruh. Shout out to Kaylin says, what you just described was why premarital sex is sinful for some people, particularly women. The more men a woman has sex with, the more she compares. The more women we have sex with, the less special they are to us. It's a dangerous game at all times. In a greater society, we would wish that people would have not as much intimacy going into their marriages. If you want to have a successful marriage, I think being less intimate on both sides would be best. But I can't control that. All right, we got some people here. Sean John says, tell that woman to tuck her forehead in. All right, for sure. The Klingon, Stiliano, says, I was a TLC scrub in high school in the 90s. Now 44 years old. You're right. Avery says, business in girls AI influencer models, pros and cons. AI influencer? None. Pros. All pros. All right. Eric Scott Sermon in the building. Michael says, almost to my money goal that I set, but I want to treat myself nice. Am I allowed to treat myself during my journey? Always. Yes. Baby steps. When you're going through your journey and you're trying to stack, remember to treat yourself. All right. You need to reward yourself. You need to take baby steps. You need to reward yourself for the small accomplishments, not just wait for the big accomplishments. So take yourself and treat yourself to a steak dinner. Take yourself shopping. All right. You will then get a little sense of motivation. All right. For all of that hard work and sacrifice that you did. Just don't trick it off on women yet. Yes. Treat yourself. Shout out to our brother Chuck. He says the NWO hacked the bunker. Shout out to you. But I do have new world order. I do have some people here. So my son's here, and also I have a personal assistant here. My massage therapist coming. So what's happening is I think a lot of people are on my internet. And Red Pilled Luffy says a woman's morals is put to test when her beta buck's side of hypergamy needs to be satisfied. That's why I know there will be always women on escort sites selling dookie hole. and all of her hoes, guys will wife them up anyway. A woman turns 18 every single day. Shout out to Red Pill Luffy a few hours ago. But yeah, when you see women pivot from, oh, I date roughnecks, I like street guys, and then they go into, I'm in my simp mode, I want a Russell Wilson, I'm going to date the good guy, I'm going to marry the guy I don't really am attracted to. Gentlemen, this is not good. All right, you do not want to be around and date those women. Okay, do not date or marry any of those women. This is why we tend to come down hard, pause, on Russell Wilson. All right, but we know why Russell did it. But when women do this, they're demonstrating that they're in survival mode. All right, they have buried themselves in a certain position. Now they only can reach to those guys because the other guys are undesirable to them. They were desirable at one point, but now they're losers, right? So the street guy, the guy that got her to get back credit, the guy that gave her a baby daddy, the guy that left her, impregnated and left her, the guy that got arrested and put in jail, the pimp guy that got killed, right? Now they can't go back to that guy. There's no point. So now when they start pivoting and saying, oh, I'm in a guy where I want a resource, I want guy balance, this is dangerous to you. Now you can marry them, but this is a dangerous woman. Somebody said, well, what type of woman? If she's been in relationship, balanced long-term relationship, balanced long-term relationship, balanced long-term relationship, and it just didn't work out and she's 26, and she's been in a couple long-term relationships, that's fine. All right, as long as the guys weren't losers. She was just with guys that tried to make it work out. That woman is probably somewhat more healthier. She tried, didn't work, tried, didn't work, tried, didn't work. She didn't just get ran through and be reckless with her pussy and sell some, and then come in and then trigger over to trying to say, I'm going to just be a good woman to a guy that's stable. Those women are dangerous to you, bro. Doesn't mean you can't have any fun. Those women are dangerous. They cheated, he cheated, and she took him back. These women are traumatized. This is a traumatized woman. I would tell you to go get an 18-year-old woman. I don't care what age you are, 65. You'd be better off with an 18-year-old than to take that bullshit. That woman is going to ruin you, man. She just got off the stripper pole. She been finessing niggas all her life, and she been running through with niggas, and she had a pimp, and she been getting fucked on the carousel and tossed and dated rappers and celebrities. And now she wants to clean up her act, right? She wants to get off of cocaine, right? She wants to clean up her act. She don't want to smoke weed. She wants to speak proper. She wants to dress differently. This woman is, bruh, avoid. Just toss it. Fuck and toss. Fuck, talk. Do not get serious with women like this. There's far too many of these women, though. And I'm protecting the men on this one. Just get an 18-year-old girl. Just, right? I don't care. Well, I feel funny about the age gap. Okay, get with this 34-year-old woman and see what happens. She gonna ruin you, fam. She gonna ruin you. Okay, she is going to ruin you, and she has no toolbox to deal with a man like you. She don't deserve a man like you. She has no tools to deal with you. All she did was just switch the type of person she dated. That's the only thing she did. She been to church twice. She had an STI scare. She's cleared off on her antibiotics from her bacterial vaginosis. Okay. She just stopped smoking dope and coke. She just stopped partying and going to the club, barely. She barely 30 days into changing her life. Soon as she comes over there, she is not a changed person. All she did was change who the type of person she's seeking out. She was at Dre's 2 weeks ago. Let niggas feel on her booty. Giving out her phone number to niggas at Dre's two months ago. She was just sucking off niggas over in Turks and Caicos 2 months ago. She was just selling pussy on Seeking Arrangements 2 months ago. Right? She ain't been clean long. She just turned the page in her life 2 months ago. She just deleted her OnlyFans 2 months ago. Not even 2 months ago. 36 days ago, she deleted her OnlyFans. All right? She is not a changed woman. She just changed the type of guys that she's dating. And for women, they'll say, I'm changed. Ask them how long they've been changed. 36 days, 2 months, 3 years. I'm a different woman now. I'm a different woman. She just decided she's different and just washed her sins away. I got baptized. No. Yep, she just archived her Instagram. She just deleted her escort page. Stop. She just cleaned up her Instagram. Now she got all kind of modest dresses. Now she wants to go to brunch when she was too drunk on Saturday nights to go to brunch on Sunday morning. Bruh. Anyway, let me get back. We'll do the main event in the other part since we were interrupted. All right, I got to get off the stream in an hour. So I'm just telling you guys, look, those are just toys. Just play with they fucking ass and dip. Having 12 kids is a trauma response by Nick Cannon. All right, main event. All right, so we got Stephon Diggs. We talked about him, but we do want to talk about this guy named Nick Cannon. You guys know him as a celebrity, Nick Cannon. There's a lot. Shout out to Nick Cannon. No disrespect on anything that we're going to say. We're going to use your experience as a learning experience. And Nick Cannon is this guy right here. He's an entertainer, actor, rapper, multi-millionaire, developed the billionaire business, also is the ex-husband of Mariah Carey. Now, in my opinion, no disrespect, because I know these celebrities and these celebrity hanger-oners watch me, so I don't want the word to get back that I be dissing guys like this. I have to be careful since I'm internationally known to an extent, right? These men can happen upon my stream, especially when they see themselves on the thumbnail. I believe Nick Cannon has been traumatized. I think he suffers from arrested development, typically around, these liberal men, these actors and entertainers. To me, they come across as weirdos, right? And that's because I grew up in Southern California around these guys. They are putting on an act for the public, but then behind the scenes, they're different. So that develops a little bit of a, what they call a, I can't remember what they call it, but it's what social media people exist. What happens is they have a character that they're putting out to the world, and it conflicts with their real character in life. So Nick Cannon has always suffered from this as a child actor, where what'll happen is as a child actor, they're like clean, prim, and proper, right? Behind the scenes, they're a gang member, right? They smoke dope. They're a gang member. Like a lot of guys will have this conflicted life, right? Where they come from LA and they'll say, well, I hung around with the Bloods and the Crips. But then imposter syndrome. But then in the world, they're portrayed as a nice guy, a geek, a nerd, a lame. They read their script. You know what I mean? Like as an actor, you have to have some sort of discipline to be able to be selected as an actor. You got to read scripts. You got to memorize lines. You got to show up on set on time. You can't be showing up like a gangster. You can't be showing up like a gangster. So this is a conflicting image where they try to hold both because people will just think he's a nerd. You some nerd guy. So then they got to go back and be like, I was in the gang. We see this with Ray J, Arrested Development, where he's a good kid. He was brought up in a good family, but then he will talk about, I was led astray. I was part of the Bloods and the Crips, right? But then you were an actor. Your sister was a Grammy award-winning singer. You know what I mean? So what happened is niggas, because niggerism, the hood guy is the top square of the pyramid. So no matter how successful you are, you got to go back to the top of the pyramid. John Morant, Chris Brown, they all suffer from niggerism. All right? They all suffer from niggerism.
The real problem is niggerism. That's the real problem.
So this is a conflicting situation. It's an imposter syndrome. So you'll see them go back and forth with this, and they'll do this for years. Will Smith suffered from this. Will Smith suffered from this, right? He was a good, clean image guy. Then all of a sudden, let me go back to the hood and I'm cool, right? And they'll be over intelligent. They'll be so intelligent. I believe Nick Cannon is really a smart guy, but he's so smart, he outsmarts himself, right? So he's so smart, he outsmarts himself. Will Smith, he's so smart, but he outsmarts himself. So what happens is they have a conflicted interest, and then they're fearing they're going to get exposed as a fake or a lame or a fake gangster. So they got to play both sides of the fence. So this is what he's, I believe, suffer from. This is what he's going to kind of admit, right? And so there he is right there, smiling, cheesing with a whole Kool-Aid smile. But then he'll tell you in the next interview he's a gangster. And he grew up around the Crips and the Bloods. And there he is kind of drawing the same feminine hairstyle that gang members tend to wear because jail and prison. And the feminization of the black male, right? You know, I'm going to wear this gang member's haircut, but it's really a woman's haircut. All right. All right. So you see this here, right here. So it's a two-edged sword here. And then also he's the married guy. So he's married to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey makes more money on paper. And she's seen as the alpha. And he even says this actually ruined his marriage with Mariah Carey. And I'm going to give you some proof of this. So not only are you the masculine gang member, but you're up under the wing of a woman, a R&B diva. Like, how gangster can you be? How gangster can you be when you're under the thumb and wing of a woman? Okay, let me see here. I'm going to show you this data. I actually did a show on this where he said this ruined his marriage. All right, hold on for a second. I think we have a video playing here. Just breaking this down. I have to break this down for us. All right, for some reason, it's hard for me to find, but I've done a show on it. Just trust me on this one. All right, trust me on this one. He said it ruined his marriage. All right, let's see here. So when this woman's telling you what to do and you're kowtowing her and you're feeding her grapes and she makes more than you, he even said that she was the alpha. It made him want to go make his own money. All right, is this the article that I was going to reference? Here it is right here. Let me see here. Is this the one? Honestly, I think Nick and I would have worked it out between us, but our egos and emotions got inflamed. It was tough. We both wanted to make sure everyone was cool in the family. Okay, that wasn't the article I was going to address. All right, so we're talking about traumatizing here. So there he is right there. And he was much younger than her, right? So it was hard for him to be the one carrying the purse and the diaper bag and this, but that tended to be his role. And some guys like that role. He said it drove him to madness to become a millionaire and filthy rich. Okay. So we have that. We have that, Nick Cannon. So we have the successful businessman, the successful actor, rapper. Okay. He was successful as a rapper. I will give him that. All right. He wasn't a top rapper of all time, but he did decently. He was able to marry a very attractive, successful woman and still end up traumatized at the end. So traumatized that he was willing to have 12 babies by 6 women. That includes Mariah Carey's 2, but the 10 other children came in a short window, right? It came in about a 2 or 3 year time span. And one of the reasons why is that he did have lupus, all right? So he did think that he had a mortality issue. And so maybe he was trying to beat that by staying a little bit more relevant in what we call immortal, all right? Being able to have as many kids as you can have in a sense so you can beat this mortality issue, right? You're successful, you had everything, but now, okay, you could die. So that could have been part of it. There's trauma related to that. You see the end of your life potentially. So there's trauma. Then you have this, and this is what happens. You have then people calling him irresponsible for having all these babies, okay, which I'm conflicted with. I'm conflicted with this because I think men should have as many babies as they want and desire, right? It shouldn't be just restricted based on, what society thinks and what, women think. So if your wife says, I only want to have one kid, have the one kid with her and divorce her fucking ass when she don't want to have more. You want to have 5. But men will be like, well, she only wants to have 1, and you'll stick there and suffer through in vitro fertilization, right? And she can barely have 1. She's determining how your legacy is to go. But I believe that men should be able to, as long as they can afford it, have as many kids as they want. And maybe not in the United States. If you want to have 5 or 6 kids, go somewhere else. All right, so this is Nick Cannon with, I can't remember this woman's name. She was a podcaster. Make more money, darling. Bobby Altoff. Bobby Altoff is her name.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. We know I can't say that. And it says
Nick Cannon struggles to remember 12 of its kids' names.
What are their names?
You want all 12?
12 names. Go.
All right.
This is where I usually get in trouble.
Why? Because you don't know all of them.
I know all of them, but like, all right, well, here we go. I'll label off for you. See, let's keep me honest. There's rock, roll, golden, powerful, rise, onyx, legendary, Zion, zillion, zen, and see, this is where how many?
You're missing 2.
I'm missing 2.
Oh. All right, men are saying he's taking care of them, but he doesn't remember their names. All right, no, that's not gonna work. That's not taking care of them.
Gotcha, bitch.
All right, he take care of his kids though, but can't remember their names. That's bad. Lil Boosie can remember all his kids' names. All right, Lil Boosie can't remember kids' names, but Nick Cannon, not so much. And by the way, let's go back to these kids' names. All right, let's go back to these kids' names for a minute. We're going to look at the children's names. All right, and by the way, we can talk about his children's names. They have been published, and he just named them off. So, yes, we're going to name them as well. And that's going to tell you a lot as well. All right, what kind of names are we having for these children? All right, we do have the kids' names here. All right, my articles got reset, so give me a second here. All right. Let me see here. And I normally don't talk about kids' names and stuff like this, but this is relevant to the story, and he just named them. So the children that he has, we have Moroccan and Monroe. Those are the girl twins from Mariah Carey. We have Golden, Powerful, Rise. We have 2 with we're going to talk about the baby mama's names in a minute. We have Zion and Zillion, and we have Beautiful, and we have Legendary and Onyx. All right, those are the ones. I don't know which ones he missed, but I don't know. These are easy names to remember, and he couldn't remember them. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, he takes care of them right there. He takes care of them though. Sends the money. There's no way you can be that present in life. And that's what he's being criticized for, because he's not as present in their lives. But I think for men being present in kids' lives is being taken out of control. Like, it doesn't, like, men should not be required to be that present in kids' lives. I don't think a man needs to be daily in a kid's life like that. That's just me. All right. The idea that I got to be there as much as the mother. I think that's feminist propaganda. And that sets men up for failure, because you want the man there, but you want him to be a provider. You can't have it both ways. And that's where men get pigeonholed. That's where you get stuck. And you think, well, if I'm there more, I'll win. No, you're going to lose. Because eventually the money is going to need to be there. What's going to happen? Because is she going to carry the weight of the family? Typically, women aren't carrying the weight. Only 30% of households are breadwinner females. So it is tough for men to balance the two. All right. And then you will find out that if you are able to balance the two, you just took 2 decades out of your life where you are not at your peak in terms of earning potential. And you take the divorce rate in there, it is very tough for a man to be there every day for their kids. I don't even think it's a requirement. I just don't think it's a requirement. I think women, on the other hand, yes. I don't think a man needs to be there every day talking to their kid. He could check in and that type of thing, but yes. So that means the men can then have more kids. And then if he has more women or one woman to raise those kids, the kids will be better off. But that's another conversation. Going into it, let's talk about the mothers of these children before we get into him and his spiel about what he is going to credit for him having the babies. We're going to look at the mothers of these children, okay? Because this is important. Because then you say he takes care of his kids, but let's take a look at the mothers of the children, the women that he selected to mother these children. And let's see what their outcomes are. This is important. Okay, let's start with the first one. The first woman is Mariah Carey. All right, so we know that they were married almost a decade or so, and they produced 2 children. They ended up in a divorce. Now, this wasn't a bad deal, but, she would have been a tough person to marry. In fact, she's only had 2 men marry her as successful as she's been. All right. She had Tommy Mottola, who he was abusive, and he was in his 30s or late 30s, and she was a teenager when they married. All right. So that was very early on, and that's how she got her record deal, was through the Sony, and I can't say his name too many times because Michael Jackson. All right. Tommy Mottola was a record executive, and he put her on as a teenager, and then he married her. All right. I don't think they produced kids, but she said it was a toxic marriage. And then she then married Nick Cannon. All right. So by the time she married Nick Cannon, she had been in the industry for 15 or 20 years, and she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at that particular point. All right. And I did see her perform in Las Vegas. She did do a good show, even though she's not a dancer or a singer. Okay. She actually had a good show for a woman that just stands there and sings. All right. So I'll give her credit. I give her credit for being a good performer. I don't want to put no shade on her. All right, but let's go back to then the next baby mama, and this woman's name is Bree. Right, there she is. Shout out to Bree right here. No shade to her either.
Where the white women at?
All right, this is Bree. Bree is one of the baby moms, and there she is with Nick Cannon right there. And there she is with Nick Cannon there. All right. Featured very prominently on her Instagram. There she is with Nick Cannon there, taking care of the one kid that they have. So she is featuring him very prominently on her Instagram. Another thing about Bree is that she been in the industry chick for a long time. So this is also Bree with Hulk Hogan's son. Okay. And as you can see, this was her as a teenager with Hulk Hogan's son. She had also been in the industry and as a model and all of that. So by the time Nick Cannon shows up and offers her an opportunity to have a baby, all right, and invest in her plastic surgery, this is her years later. Now take a look at the two. She's not Hispanic. She is definitely a white girl. All right, but she just has a lot of surgery and a lot of tanning. So people say she looks Hispanic, but that's a whole white girl, just so you know. All right. And so she looks really, really different, but she's been in the industry many, many years. Okay. Many. She's been with industry guys many, many years, but that money that Nick Cannon is supporting his children is definitely going into her looks cosmetically. And she basically got the Kim Kardashian, and she got the body done too. All right. Goodness gracious. She definitely.
Oh, the humanity.
All right. She definitely got the body done. So we see where the money is going. All right. And the implant. Yeah, man, that is a completely different woman. And there she is. She actually wants to be Nick Cannon's girlfriend, I believe. All right. And judging from some research that I've done, it apparently is that she has exhibited levels of jealousy. Bree TZ reveals when she gets jealous amid Nick Cannon's relationship. All right, it says right there, she is the, right there, they have a 2-year-old. That's the writing of this article here. But they say right here, I think I've gotten jealous about holidays. Noting that holidays are hard to navigate through when Nick has to split time with all 12 of his children and their respective 5 moms. I'd be like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, can you take the child? Say they go on a trip, and I'm like, well, that would have been nice. You could have just brought your other son, my son, with you guys on the trip. All right, so as you can see, he takes care of his women. But, of course, guys, this is a dumpster fire. This is out of control. This is a grease fire. So you have the reality that the women accepted their position, but still, you can't control women's emotions. You got a jealous woman, but she knew what she signed up for. You knew he was going to have 11 kids. I don't think she was even the second or third mom. But now she's still expressing jealousy. There she is. She wants a relationship with him. You see that? He's prominently featured there. But you got to remember, in an industry in a minute. All right. And he's got to hold her back. And he's probably experiencing a lot of pressure from this woman, right? She putting pressure on him. Be the father to your child. I don't think the other women are. You can see that. She's the only one that prominently features him in the photos. All right. Quite prominently. And she got her feet out right here. Okay. She want to be the main. She doesn't want to be, she don't want to be just one of the baby moms. All right. So we see that. And a lot of these guys will say these Instagram whores, they can't get this, they can't get this. if you didn't know this was Nick Cannon's baby mom, you would have had no clue. She would just look like a regular IG model trying to get put on. All right, so that's baby mama number 2, but not in that order. All right, let's go to the next baby mom, and her name is, this is the one, Mrs. Bell. All right, let's go to her page and do some research. All right, this is Bell. All right. So this is her page right here. There's her with 2 children. If I'm not mistaken, he has 2 children with her, possibly. Well, there's 3 children there. I don't think he has 3. But there she is. Right there. Looking like a regular model, right? Looking like a regular IG girl. But she has the baby. She's the baby mama of Nick Cannon. All right, I don't know much about her there, but I'm pretty sure her page says she's an entrepreneur. Click link in the bio and so forth and so on. All right, and she's put together well, nice little mulatto, long legs. Volunteer. All right, a volunteer. Now let's go to the next woman here. The next woman here is named, this is the De La Rosa chick. This is the De La Rosa chick. All right, so this is the De La Rosa chick coming up here. And there she is with the Nick Cannon picture right there. But there she is looking like Christina Mackey right here. We definitely have the lips and all of this stuff right there. She's a DJ too. She's like, I want to be a DJ. Okay. And again, looking like a woman that you would not known if that was Nick Cannon's baby mom. You wouldn't even know. You'd be like, who is this woman? She Instagram thought. Okay. But there's Nick Cannon right there. With the 2 children. There he is being a good father. Shout out to Nick Cannon, too, on this one. All right, but, you know, she's nipped and tucked and surgically implanted and this and that. She doesn't feature another man, and it looks like she possibly might want to be the main. All right, she possibly might want to be the main. So, you know, we can't really tell. Right there. There's the family portrait. All right, so he is spreading himself quite thin, right? Like, he is around. So shout out to Nick Cannon for being around, but we're going to see what he actually sums up these type of relationships right here. There he is around. He's there. So Nick is really working hard to maintain these relationships. All right, so the next woman is the woman that goes by. This is the woman named Alyssa right here. She has a link tree, Alyssa Scott. All right, so this is Alyssa Scott. She looks to be white to me, but that's neither here nor there. And skinny, right? Blonde, yep, implanted, nipped and tucked. Volunteer. I don't see Nick Cannon on the page as much. We do see the children. All right, we got a flat back. Definitely got the flat backs out. Jessica Rabbit. All right, model type. And so forth and so on. And listen, if he did this and he knowingly did this and he accepted it, that's one thing. And we assume that he accepted it. But when you hear his reason why he did it, he's kind of backing away from it, which is sad. All right. Damn, don't back away from it. That's irresponsible if you're backing away from it. So that's the woman here. I don't see another man featured on her profile, but we see her backstage, underage adolescents. All right, with the drug, by the way, this car she's sitting next to is a drug dealer car. Not that she has access to it. She's just taking a picture next to it. But the streets were wild back in the 90s, bruh. This is definitely 1991 brick cell phone drug dealer car. All right.
In these streets.
Last one. The last baby mama is a woman named, looks like Anisha Cole. All right. Anisha Cole looks to be racially ambiguous. All right, racially ambiguous. But we can't tell what she is, but she definitely has a man. So this is the only one that is featured. It seems maybe another man that she's in a relationship with. So we know that this guy is with the baby mother of Nick Cannon. All right, so there she is right there. She's prominently featured him a couple times. So it seems, and it looks like they have had a child recently, or there's a pin post there. 2024. He definitely is not showing all his teeth, but he is happy to be with her, and she's happy to have seemingly moved on from Nick Cannon. All right, where she's not featured to him prominently. And there he is being a stepdad type of shit right there. Shout out to him. No, hey, listen, I'm just doing the review here. And that looks to be Nick Cannon's child right there. There's him being a stepdad right there. He's the That's You guy for sure. He's the cleanup guy and all of that.
And that's you.
And again, you wouldn't have known that she was with Nick Cannon either. You would just think, who is this woman, right? And who is this married couple? But she hasn't featured Nick Cannon at all. She features the child, but not Nick. So she seemingly have moved on in relationship to this right there. That looks like Nick Cannon's baby for sure. Okay. All right. So you see what's going on here. All right. So shout out to the people here. But here's the update. Here's the update on this one. We known this for years, and we assumed Nick Cannon was just being Genghis Khan. But now, because Nick Cannon is one of these overthinkers, Nick Cannon now explains why he did this. And I think now it's foolish. All right, so let me go to the clip. Hollywood Unlocked has it, but it was on The Breakfast Club. This is Nick Cannon admitting having 12 kids was a trauma response. Uh-oh. Why couldn't he just say, I was on my man shit? I did this. I chose to do it. It was healthy for me to do it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to have a tribe. I wanted to build a legacy. I wanted to be King the Conqueror. But now he's backing away. Oh man, this ain't good, guys. This ain't good. So let me go ahead and read, and then let's go ahead and get the clip played, and then we'll play and look at the response there. And boy, does he look worn out. All right, so this is the current picture of Nick Cannon. And like I said, he looks tired. All right, he takes care of his kids, but something's going on here. We know he has the lupus. Hopefully he gets over that. But he looked like he has aged 10 years. And gentlemen, you wonder why I have a gray beard? I have a gray beard because I have 2 kids and they're both raised to be adults. But now he's realizing it's tap dance time. Okay, let's hear what he has to say about this. And yes, he is not advocating for this particular thing. All right, here we go.
I think having all those kids was a response to your trauma.
Yeah, 100. Now I'm learning that now. Yeah, and it wasn't like I was acting out. It was more of being careless, being frivolous with my process because I could do it, because I had the money, because I had the access to whoever and however I wanted to move. And, okay, they coming at me, they asking me, opposed to like doing a mature thing and saying, hey, well, it probably makes more sense to do this. And then obviously life happens as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go have 12 kids. It was more about like, yo, I'm gonna just live life and have fun, and whatever happens, I can handle it. When it probably, being almost 45 now, I can sit back and be like, yeah, if I would have thought the process through a little bit more and took time to actually do the inner work, things might have been a little different in certain scenarios.
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man.
Bruh. See, this is what I don't want to hear from Nick Cannon. When I told you these guys have delayed adolescence, when they don't mature, they hit their peak, but, they're famous. They seem like they're maturing, but they're not. He's admitting this. And he's also trying to play the advocate because, people have criticized him for it. So he's advocating for his constituency, which is mostly women, right? Oh, it wasn't responsible. Had I thought it through and... All right, bruh. What the hell? This is not responsible. Oh, my God. No way. This is not being a responsible man. For people that was saying he was being responsible and he could take care of them, this answer lacks responsibility. Oh, I was going through something and the women were throwing me the pussy and I had the money and I figured I can do it. And I thought I would be dead in 5 years, but I'm still alive. And, had I thought it through. So anybody that has defended Nick Cannon, okay, because there's men that have defended him, I have to say, you've been played. All right, you've been played. He played you, and look, new world order. Look, he playing y'all. Because now he's trying to shuffle it backwards. Now, a lot of men probably said, hey, shit, if Nick Cannon could do it, I could do it. I got the money, I could do it. And look at these niggas getting dragged for child support. Like, come on, man. I wonder what trauma he's talking about. I can only assume, but I can't really play the Breakfast Club interview. But this is not what you want to hear from a guy who willingly chose to do it. He sounds like a woman. This sounds like what women would say, right? And now we throwing out therapeutic terms like I was trauma response. But many of you guys defended him in doing this, and he should be able to do it. He could take care of his kids, and he could afford it. But now he's running backwards, saying that the women, he had available women, and they asked him to have a kid. So what the hell? I can go ahead and do it. This is not claiming responsibility. This is telling me it's eating at him and it's wearing his ass out. So we saw that he's spreading himself thin, trying to have balanced relationships. Also, we know at least 1 or 2 or 3 of these women want a real relationship with him. I would say at least 2 of them do. They have them prominently featured on their Instagram. One woman says, yes, I'm quite jealous of his relationship with his other family members, his other children. Is that eating away at him? Yes, sir. You better believe it. Those 2 women that really want him are not letting this easy. Is not letting them handle this very easily, I should say, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, they're not letting him get off that easy. Not only that, he has custody of Mariah Carey's kids. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is not what you would want to have heard from Nick Cannon in making this decision 5-10 years down the line. These kids ain't even 10 years old. The only kids that are 10, I think, are Mariah Carey. And Mariah Carey probably wants them back. Mariah Carey will take them back. So Mariah Carey putting pressure, right, on him. This is wearing his ass out. This is what the Bible warned you about. This is what I've warned you about. When you have multiple women, trust me, guys, they're going to wear your ass out. There's a tax. There's a cost to it. Women aren't free. Women are not free. They will wear your ass out. They will send you to an early grave. They will age you. The more women you're talking to. Now, I know, man, we all want multiple women and we want to have poly and this and that. But in America, where the onus is on him to be a successful man and financially support his kids, but he's got to be at every birthday party. He's got to remember every one of their names. He's got to remember every one of their birthdays. He's got to be present. He's got to have women say, why didn't you take us on vacation? Wearing his ass out. And now he backpedaling. Maybe if I would have thought it through. Hell nah. All right, let me play the rest.
You wouldn't have 12 kids.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
All right, anybody that has ever defended Nick Cannon, this is not what you want to hear. This is doomsday. Well, I don't know. You don't know? Nah, man, stand on this motherfucker, man. Stand on business. Stand on business, Nick. If you want me to defend you as a father who is doing his best to be a part of these kids' lives and that you remember them, I know you remember your kids' names, but this is a backpedal. The women are gonna eat this up. This makes it harder for men to say they want poly and they want multiple wives and they can handle it and they got enough money. This is him admitting that this was a bad deal. And the women are not going to forget it. So this is a bad deal. I don't care if he's trying to placate to his audience. This is bad. Who's next? Cam Newton? All right. Is Cam Newton going to backpedal next? All right. Because now, Jesus, wowzers.
Like that's the only thing, because I've always said this, every child that I had was made out of love, and there were strong relationships. It's just, if I would have did the work and the healing after getting divorced, I probably would have took my time in a lot of other scenarios.
What?
I wish a nigga would.
Okay. You hear what this is? This is New World Order propaganda against you guys doing this. He's fell for it.
New World Order.
But really, his experience could tell us he getting worn down, bro. He can't handle this. He cannot handle being spread this thin. So the reality of it is really hitting him. And I think most of these kids were born between 2022 and 2024, 25, right? So yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but with all of these people saying you need to be present in these kids' life and money ain't just enough, and you got to be there, you can see him attempting to do it. But he's like, man, I got 13 more years of this, 15 more years of this. He can't do it. He's doing the math. He says, what is he, in his 40s? He said, I got to do this until I'm 60, 55? No way. He knows he can't keep it up. And it's aging him, it's wearing his ass down. And he probably looking at his bank account going, damn, right? Bank account getting tore the fuck up, right? Even though these women don't have much child support, and there's a sense that he said that the more children you have in California, the less child support there'll be. Yeah. All right, this is true, but that don't mean he ain't still paying for vacations and plastic surgeries for these girls, because that's what he's doing. Okay. So yeah, he's taking care of the children, but he's also taking care of the women. He's not telling them no when they ask for money. I mean, this is just me guessing. Okay. And that's just based on what I see. All right. Let me just see here. All right. So it's child support. It's his child support. All right. But these women are taken care of in a multitude of ways. All right. There's more than child support. And this woman loves him. She admitted that. I want him. She's in love with him. Where's her Instagram? Here it is right here. Let me scroll up. This woman wants a relationship. She wants to go on vacation. But yeah, all the flying around and flying to this and that and taking her on vacations and shit. Where's the other woman that had Nick Cannon in the profile? All right. Let's see here. I don't think this one did. It was the next woman. This one. Yeah, this one right here. Is this the other white woman? No, seems like a racially ambiguous one. Right here. Family pictures and shit and recitals, and we're all dressed in white. We taking a picture. He getting worn out, bruh. He's taking care of these women. Bank account, he probably makes good money. I'm not saying, but that money is going out the door, all right, fast. And he probably don't need much of it, to be honest. But you don't think, and he's smashing these women still. He's also fucking these women still. Right, at least 3 of them, we know he's still smashing. Okay. But now you see the results. And he's got to do this for another 15 years. And he's like, I would have thought this through a little bit better. So again, it's hard to even defend it, right? I would love to defend Nick Cannon if he came out and handled this responsibly and said, yeah, I decided this and I love it and I'm going to see it to the end. That's not what I'm hearing from him. So that's an L. All right, let me continue.
And for whatever reason, I thought that was the answer a lot of times. It was like, oh, well, I'm going to figure it out over here. I'm going to figure it out over here, opposed to like, yo, now you're leaving trauma every step of the way.
Oof, you're leaving trauma every step of the way. Boy, this, for divorced men, this is not what you want to hear from Nick Cannon. I was traumatized in my divorce, and listen, let's just say he's being honest. All right, what if you're a divorced man and you go out to the JUCO and you fucking you a trauma response? This is going to be the new talking point. You thought that was the solution, to get young hot women and start knocking them up and go to the Philippines and go to Thailand and go to Colombia. It's just that you're traumatized. It's a trauma response to your divorce. All right. Wow. This is a shuffle, bruh. This is a mad dash shuffle. And look at his aging. You could tell it's on his neck.
Instead of, fixing it from its origin and then being able to present itself. But then like concepts like monogamy and stuff like that, I still feel the same way about that. I was going to ask
you, has your view on that changed?
Nah, not really. Not for me. And that again, that's the work of, you know, whether you want to go back to like Freud's process of like my childhood and my upbringing. I grew up in a very unorthodox situation and household, so I've always understood that, you know, love happens differently. So monogamy has never really been my thing, but so that I'm pretty sure that plays a part of it as well too.
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man.
This nigga just opened up. He just aired out all married divorced men. That's what the hell, man? You done fucked it up for everybody, Nick. You realize who you done fucked it up for? All the men, all the passport bros is on notice right now, nigga. We on notice. All right. All the free, everybody, all of us on our side, we fucked, bro. All right. You done just gave them a whole encyclopedia of shit to wear ass out on. They gonna be wearing our ass out on all this shit, bruh. Man, just take responsibility. This dude sounds like a woman. Take accountability for your decisions. Take accountability on your decision making. That's what men do. But nah, let me check let me see if this nigga, now you shuffling on monogamy. Oh my God. Blaming your parents for being non-traditional monogamous. This is cooked. Come on. Trauma response from your divorce. Sigmund Freud. When I tell you this guy is, unfortunately, he plays both sides of the fence. He playing both sides of the fence.
So you think having all those kids?
All right, let me read this real quick. He explains having given the different situation. It says right here. He's given different explanations in the past on why he decided to have so many children, sometimes even cracking jokes about it. But this time, the 44-year-old made it clear his choices were connected to a few things, including coping with pain after his 2016 divorce from Mariah. All right. It was like I was acting out. It was more about being careless, being frivolous with my process because I could do it because I had money.
I got money.
All right. Translation, they stressing him the fuck out. It's pure irresponsibility. Nick, please. Therapy would have been much more cost effective. There's the therapy. I mean, I can't even help this situation, bro. This is bad. He looks like he got 12 kids now. Is it me, or did he just start looking old out of nowhere? Yes. He's attempting to avoid being canceled. Yes. All right, but what does that do? All right, right here, he's learning that now, 12 kids later, Lord have mercy. We have the Mr. Rogers clown. Took you 12 kids and mad broken families to realize that therapy would have been much cheaper. Those bags under his eyes tells me that these baby mamas is stressing him the fuck out. And all those kids and baby and birthdays, every time you turn around. So it says right here, ER visits, fevers, you name it. So it took you 40-something years to get some common sense. This person said bye after making 3 or 4 people. Due to carelessness, he would have stopped. He did it on purpose, and I agree. He needed to feel like a man again. This is them and laughing at him. By the way, Nick Cannon said as much. He said that I needed to feel like a man coming out of my relationship with Mariah Carey. All right. She emasculated him, or he felt emasculated by Mariah Carey. Literally all he had to do was 1, wear a condom, 2, snip him. He could have fun with no kids. Are we for real? For real. Our free agent lifestyle. Last one. This is defining a trauma response. A trauma response is a set of psychological, emotional, and cognitive reactions that occur after experiencing a distressing or overwhelming event. These reactions are designed to protect the individual from further harm. And then they go on to say, having multiple children with multiple women and intentionally creating many broken homes across the country is not a trauma response. Hope this helps. Okay. Okay. Where are all the he can afford it people? Yep. See, you can't say that now. He takes care of them. He's there for them. He supports them. He's there. You can't use that argument now. You can, but obviously he doesn't feel that way, or he's not pushing that agenda anymore. I'll play the whole clip straight through, and then we'll do the super chats. Let's go.
It was a response to your trauma.
Yeah, 100. Now I'm learning that now. Yeah, and it wasn't like I was acting out. It was more of being careless, being frivolous with my process because I could do it, because I had the money, because I had the access to whoever and however I wanted to move, and okay, they coming at me, they asking me, opposed to like doing a mature thing and saying, hey, well, it would probably makes more sense to do this, and then obviously life happens as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go have 12 kids. It was more about like, yo, I'm gonna just live life and have fun, and whatever happens, I can handle it. When it probably, being almost 45 now, I can sit back and be like, yeah, if I would have thought the process through a little bit more and took time to actually do the inner work, things might have been a little different in certain scenarios.
You wouldn't have 12 kids.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing, because I've always said this, every child that I had was made out of love, and there were strong relationships. It's just, if I would have did the work and the healing after getting divorced, I probably would have took my time in a lot of other scenarios. And for whatever reason, I thought that was the answer a lot of times. It was like, oh, well, I'm gonna figure it out over here. Opposed to like, yo, now you're leaving trauma every step of the way, instead of, fixing it from its origin and then being able to present itself. But then like concepts like monogamy and stuff like that, I still feel the same way about that. I was going to ask
you, has your view on that changed then?
Nah, not really. Not for me, and that, again, that's the work of, whether you want to go back to like Freud's process of like my childhood and my upbringing. I grew up in a very unorthodox situation and household, so I've always understood that love happens differently. So monogamy has never really been my thing, but so that I'm pretty sure that plays a part of it as well.
Oh man. All right. Let me end it on that. All right. Shout out to the Coach Gang. Hit the like button. Let's do the super chats, man. That's a back pedal. And why do niggas wear turbans and they get super smart? Shout out to our brother Amron, says, thanks, Coach, for the Friday content. We back. Shout out to our brother Sin, says, Tom Likas was the reason I got my vasectomy. Best decision I ever made. Maybe Nick Cannon should have listened to Tom Likas. Thanks to Tom, the GOAT, tied to the Kanga Kang. Shout out to Tom Likas. Brandon Beach. Coach not lying. I did a wrestling match at a club that I was DJing. And at that, he says they had a wrestling show. I got hit in the back by one of Rikishi's son. Let me tell you, that chair is really made of steel. I felt my soul come out of my body, laughing my ass off. Shout out to you and the World Wrestling Federation. I like saying that. Shout out to our brother Gen Z Shy. Says, greetings, brethren. I recently escaped a millennial woman who was a chameleon at some of the highest levels. Would you consider doing a show on the hierarchy of chameleons? The hierarchy of chameleons. That's actually a good concept. It goes, the hierarchy of chameleons. I like that. I'll consider doing that show. Thank you for your contributions and your suggestion. That should be a fun show we'll put together. Peace and blessings to you. Shot X, shout out to you and the coach gang. Back is feeling much better, but still in pain here and there, taking it easy and looking for a new career path. Great money as a fiber technician, but my body is breaking down. All right. Is that a physical job? If your body's breaking down, that does happen. All right. So you have to make a different career choice. Shout out to No NGN says, since being debt free, thanks to your content, I have a policy of avoiding normies with debt, and they always seem stressed out and miserable. He says, I'm a Gen Z for your information on money mindset, and locals keep pricing the Mitches out. They don't want to boss up even for themselves. Cisco says, took my son to the Apple Dapple. I already read that one, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. And Tranisha's in the building. You know Tranisha always has something to say. Callie West says, Dame Dash, put on Cameron. This upset Jay, and he broke up with Rockefeller. Yeah, now Cameron is dissing Dame Dash. He may have deleted the goose who laid the golden egg. All right, so yeah, I remember Jay-Z was not happy about Cameron siding with Rockefeller. And he even blamed Jay-Z for him getting shot in Washington, D.C. in the pink Lamborghini. Shout out to Cameron. Black Boss is in the building. And Tranisha says, your whole show is in fuego, and the topics intertwine with each other by design. A sagging nigga told me black man shortage as a sales point for my panties, and I pointed out black women who are older than me, lesbian, married, crippled, blind, and crazy. My odds are good. He looked at me like, damn. He says she says my waist is 26.5, and I enjoy dates with 3 other dudes. Shout out to Tranisha. Okay. Wait a minute. She says right here, 3 other dudes who where one was not a black male and the other was a mulatto. The sagging pants ninja who cut my hair for free one time still contacts me years after I rejected him because his opinions are scarce. His game is that sisters should pick him out of desperation, a black male shortage, all right, which is typically something being sold there. And that this Mexican man told me I will not find a lot of black men without kids. Yet he was childless when he married his wife with 2 kids who's older than me. What gives? It's enough. Most black men follow the Pookie look, and it's hard to tell a good one from a throwaway. I hate boxes and places. Shout out to you. But look, you're saying that it's hard to determine good black men from black men because they all look like Pookies. All right. But what about the guys that wear polo shirts and Dockers? All right. Sometimes these are good men. All right. But it's hard to tell a good, honest woman from the hoes. They all dress the same. All right. So that's hard. But yeah, scarce mindset. You got to pick a black man no matter what. All right. But I think the black community could serve well from polyamory or polygyny. Gary says, Coach, men only believe their hard power outshines women's soft power, but they forget that soft power, aka tears, and starting arguments around their clan causes chaos and death. Beware of her soft power because it hits hard. And women are very in tune on when to start arguments. When they're in your physical presence, you guys realize they tend to, unless they're aggressive and masculine, avoid confrontation. But a woman knows that if she's with her family, she can say reckless shit to you. And if you snap and crash out on her, her family's there. So also in public, all right, this is a soft power. If she cries in public, say you're in a crowded restaurant, white woman tears, you're cooked. Because they're going to say, what did he do to her? Did he hit her? Did he smash her? What happened? So this is a soft power that men don't acknowledge. And then when they're in these settings and you have experience and they do this, then you realize, oh shit, they got a lot of power. All right. They know how to yield it. And so you do have to know how to interact with them publicly. Okay. You know, how do I interact with this woman? How do I set her up? How do I know when to engage? When do I disengage? So watch out for these things. And men that tell you not to worry about these things, please, man, you're going to find out the hard way. All right. So when she does this in front of her family, you need to correct it the first time. All right. If you let it go and then years later you try to correct it, you're cooked. All right. So when she does this, you need to tell her, don't ever do that and call her out. If she says, go fuck yourself, then you know it's time to leave. But don't wait until years down the line. What I see people do is they're trying to correct relationships when you fucked up years down the line. Throw these relationships away. You lost your power. You lost your frame. Go ahead and walk away and start with a new woman. Get you a new woman. Ladies, get you a new guy. All right. You fucked it up. All right. When I've been in relationships where I led the relationship wrong. I started off on the wrong leg and I just canceled the relationship. Right. Because I realized the way I saw it going and I saw it playing out, I'm like, okay, I started off on the wrong leg. Let me just go ahead and break up. Now, for the woman, I might have been traumatic. She might not have understood. But I saw I led wrong and I was like, it's time to go. All right. And I've done that several times. Let me just let this shit go before I get myself in a deeper hole. Right? And it happens even to me. I know about relationships, even me. Even today, I'll do it. And I'll go, damn, okay, I'm leading wrong. Okay, this woman misunderstood. This woman sees me as such, and then I need to go ahead and cancel it. Just go ahead and leave. All right, just go ahead and back out of it. Big Boss Man says it's cool to have a lot of kids or spread your seed, but make sure you're in business and you can afford to do so. And that they know what to expect. But of course, women can always pivot. Okay. All right. And also, women will always test you in a sense. So when these tests come, just know that, you know, it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. This is kind of how they try to figure out how they can treat you. How do I treat this guy? Even if you say one thing, they do want to see if you stand on business. Okay. Do you stand on your word? By the way, your kids do this. This is human behavior. Your kids do this. How about when your kids, right? If you do this, I'm going to whoop your ass. Okay, they do it again. Do you whoop their ass? Nope. You don't. So you led wrong. You are now using veiled threats. You're not standing on your word. You're not backing up. You're not slaying dragons, as Mr. Let Go says. Okay, you're not standing on your word. You don't whoop their ass. All right. You're going to be grounded. They do it again. Are they grounded? No. So it's not a male woman thing. It is a human behavior. Your boss says, if you come in late, I'm going to write you up. You come in late the next time, you don't get written up. You learn. Okay. They just talking shit. Okay. Then they want to have a conversation, a conference call, a powwow, a kumbaya session. They don't punish you. Then you realize I can come in late tomorrow. Now it's not until you're late 15 times that they might write you up and fire you and you learned your rope. Men test you, women test you, kids test you. You're a basketball coach. If I see one more missed layup, y'all running the whole practice. You see the missed layup. Do they run the whole practice? No. So they're not going to mind missing layups tomorrow. All right. Now they might find out they're going to run for 5 minutes. But as soon as you start seeing them throwing up and passing out, now you don't run the whole practice. As soon as they stop missing them lines, as soon as they don't come across in 1 minute, do you punish them? No, you start practice again because you know it's a waste of time. All right, so you start practice again. Now they know that they can miss layups. Okay, this nigga ain't standing on his word. So it doesn't matter about male or female. These PUAs and these guys will tell you what we're telling you is not true. All right, but people test other people. Women test men. Men test women. Kids test parents. Students test teachers. Teachers test students all the time. People will test you. And if you don't lead correctly and you don't stand on your word, people are just not going to believe you. And they're going to still bullshit you and call your bluff. Right? Okay. But if you going to stand on your word and they ain't hitting them lines, so you say, get back on the fucking line, and they start passing out and throwing up, get on the fucking line until they die in practice. All right, but coaches did fear, like, okay, they're going to die in practice. They're going to get a lawsuit. They're going to fall and bust their head. So, okay, everybody start getting back into the drill. You want the motherfuckers running out the door. I quit, coach. Bye. All right. Then your whole team quits. And your athletic director, like, why your whole team quit? You done ran their legs off. They don't want to play for you no more. All right. So then people start easing off. Stop standing on business. Then when your players come back next day and the athletic director, they just had a meeting. And now the parents did call a meeting. All right. Now when you tell them to not miss a layup, they're going to miss a fucking layup. They know you can't do nothing. Okay. So this does happen. It's not a male-female thing. Okay, we test women all the time. Shout out to our brother Easy Breezy says he is not doing poly correctly. He says they all should be living in the same house or within a compound or a plot of land. It should be cooperative and collaborative. He says right here, men leading the women, women leading the children. Not this many women in this many homes. This is a bad look. Shaking my head, Easy Breezy. I agree with you. That actually makes sense. That actually would bring more balance. And then each of the women can help each other. That would be a poly relationship where you got women all spread across Los Angeles and you got to shuffle back and forth. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Then you're going to try to figure out why it ain't working. We got like a couple more. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for the support. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Kaylin says Nick might make other men choose monogamy themselves. Yeah, if any man has ever thought, you know, if I was rich enough, I would have 12 children or multiple children. Or if I went to the Philippines, I would have 6 Filipino women pushing out babies. You literally will find that now people will think about it differently because raising kids is no joke. He says, what you just described as, okay, I already got that from Kaylin. And then we got Blue Baggin says, Nick is a billionaire with a B, paying for these babies. And they mamas aren't the problem. Is dealing with 12 women stressing him out. They flare up his lupus. Free agent lifestyle for life. Yes. For life. All right, I'm going to tell you, man, you know, dealing with women, people think women are free. I don't get it. Women are a taxing, they steal your energy. They're succubis. Now, this doesn't make them evil. Doesn't make them bad. This is just how they are. They often can't remain quiet, even if they're shy, even their presence. You're trying to do something for them. Do you need anything? Let me take care of you. What happens? What's going on? Why are you quiet? Are you talking? What are you thinking about? Bitch, are you thinking of killing me? What's going on? All right, are you hungry? Can I feed you? Can I fuck you? So then they're going crazy, hopping around. Somebody said 8 personalities. All right. Sometimes they talkative and they start questioning you. It's just like, then you think they lying to you. And then especially when you think they're lying to you and you can catch them in a lie and them bitches be lying their ass off. And you like, oh my God, it's going to stand there and lie to me. Even though I'm showing you that I know you lying, they still lying to you. You be like, God damn. So they're hard people to deal with. They're hard people to deal with. Young or old, they're hard people to deal with. And they tax you. They tax you. They're not for free. You're dealing with somebody that you are paying for in a multitude of ways to interact with. Shout out to the Empire Podcast says, thank you, CGA. That NDA talk yesterday was fire. Shout out to you. And the Red Pill Rangers didn't like it. All right. And then Hustle Every Day says being gangster is played out. Boss the F up. Obviously, women need men to wash their sins away. Yes, they do. All right, so that seems like that is the end of the support. Yeah, women are money, energy, attention, and time. You're hearing people remix it, but it's true. Money, energy, attention, and time. It used to be ATM, attention, time, and money. Shout out to our brother. It is RPM, but money, energy, attention, and time is where you're going to spend the bulk of it. And Nick Cannon is showing you it's costing him mad money to have impregnate them women. And dude, he don't need no game. If he had game, all right, anybody saying that, you got to be the biggest loser. All right, because some women still need, by the way, he can't ungame. He can't unwife these women. He can't unbaby mom them. He can't unsupport them. He can't put them on a budget. I mean, he can put them on a budget, but he can't undo that now. So what can he do? He can't walk away. He can't say, I can't afford you anymore. He can't say, you women need to get less surgery. And physically, it's making him sick. It's aging him like crazy. So women are not free. Nick got the money, okay? Of course he got the money. But can he just use money in this situation? He has clearly demonstrated that money ain't enough. Right? Money ain't going to solve this problem. The women initially probably said, hey, I'll have your baby, just send me a check. And then guess what? They bait and switched them. All right, I believe one of these women bait and switched Nick Cannon. All right, and I did have an interview where I saw her talking about her relationship, and I was like, she probably said, I don't care. All right, this was a financial out for her. And this is the Bree woman. All right, she probably said, and remember, this was the woman that was dating Hulk Hogan's son at one point. So she been industry thought, look at her little flatbacks and pancakes and A-cups here. All right, look how different she is. I think this woman bait and switched them. Oh, it don't matter. And I'll have your baby and I'll play the side and I'll take the $30K in child support and I'll just go ahead. And now she done got the nip and tuck and the whole surgery and the whole shebang. And now she bait and switched him and then said, oh, I want a relationship. Backdoor relationship. She backdoored him. Pause. She backdoor relationshiped him. I believe this woman certainly did. Now, I also believe another one did. And then you have Mariah Carey, who's a handful already. All right. So I believe also, where's the other woman? Not her. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. All right. Look at this. She all oiled and greased up. I believe at least two of them backdoor relationshiped him to the point where they're like, let's just be a family and let's be more present. And then he got. Okay.
Gotcha, bitch.
And he can't handle it. So the money ain't no problem. All right. It's the energy that it's Mariah Carey saying be here. It's the other woman, Bree, saying be here. It's the other woman saying let's dress up for family pictures. All right. He got the money, but he being worn out over here, pulled left and right. And dude, I'm going to tell you, dealing with women is going to wear you out. All right. I don't care if you got money or not. I don't care if you just pay for their whole lifestyle. It ain't going to be enough. Then they're going to want something else. Anyway, shout out to the Coach Gang. Hit the like button on the way out. Get your cardio in. All right. Keep your bail money ready to go. Boss Up 2025. And we in season 8 coming up 2026. We out of here, brothers. Peace.
Better boss up, nigga.